Okay, we're going to be reviewing Sanja's Level 1 certification at the latest Tin Can Bay tracking workshop. Now, for this track, the dog team did a 300-metre long track, 15 minutes aged, at least one corner and double blind conditions. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, there's an overlay with a red dot corresponding to the position of the dog during the track, so you can follow along at home. Now, the terrain at this workshop was quite challenging at times, so much so that I offered the handler to hold the lead while we made our way down this track. So I'm one handling it, but you'll see there's not a lot of handling I'm doing. I'm just following a dog and filming at the same time. So we get off to a little bit of a slow start, and I was a bit concerned that that start was slow, because I always like to say how you start your tracks sets the tone for the rest of the track. But about 20 or 30 metres in, the dog starts picking up momentum, and this is a good feeling as a handler. You go, okay, we're now making progress, and it looks like the dog is tracking whilst we're making that progress. So confidence levels start to rise again. And so it's a short track. It's a level 1. It's just getting the handlers and dog teams' nose wet, so to speak, in understanding what the certification process is. Now, you see this dog has quite a tight connection with the handler, who's actually with the owner, who's behind me, and will at times come back and check in, just to look, make sure the owner's still there, whilst we keep progressing forward. And that's quite typical when dogs are new to this sport. So Sanja, I first met when I think she was 4 or 5 months old at a workshop near Kyogle, and this is the second time I've seen her. So now it's been like 3 years since, and obviously it's grown. But that dog hasn't done any tracking in between. It just goes to show how some dogs have a natural innate ability to do this. And this was on day 2 of the workshop. And we're like, yep, you know what? We've had some good signs that the dog's capable. Let's go test it out. All right, so as you can see here, the track is moving up to this first corner, and also when you look at the wind direction, so wind, we got a tailwind, so pushing from behind, and when that happens, quite often you will overshoot the corner, and is what we're doing. Corners around here, and look how long it takes a dog to actually realize there's no more track. Starts slowing down, still walking in that direction, still working in that direction. And now I'm starting to get a bit less committed to it. Now I'm starting to think that something has changed in the track. Okay, so I'm now looking at dog's body language is very clear. That it's no longer on the track, so lost the track, and we go into what we call early stage track recovery. Early stage track recovery is your dog's opportunity to relocate the track upon its own steam. And that's what we want. We want a dog to be able to do this because it has a nose, we don't. So if any opportunity the dog will want to work for that to regain the track, we give the dog the ability to do that. And I'm like, okay, looking for that corner. Getting confirmation before we move off. That zigzag right there, for me, that's a good indication that the dog is on the track again. And you'll notice in the overlay that the dog is tracking north of the actual true track. And that's quite possibly due to the wind just being pushing the scent off the true track a bit. What I talk about in the workshop is tracking true track and tracking in the green zones, and what that is and when's it acceptable to do so. And this is what's happening here. So the dog comes back, checks in with the true track, goes back working in that direction, and will go into what we call the green zone, come back, hit the true track, and that's how this dog works out this problem. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's quite a valid method to get to the end of the track. And we're about to hit the scent pool of the track layer. It's going to give us a proximity alert, and I want you to notice the change in behaviour. Let me see if you can find when that moment is, when the dog goes, oh, could be something there. The person could be close. And look at the change in body language. Boom, right there. Dog sort of forgot about the track and is just using the wind-blown over that scent pool to now hone in on where it's coming from. And like this terrain here is very undulating, and these mounds where the trees have been planted make it quite tricky to navigate. So especially if you have a strong dog and you're of a lighter frame, it can be a lot to handle. But yeah, look, smashed it. Great work, team. Great work, dog. And yeah, good job. Hello, good work. Congratulations. Let me pause that. 420 meters we did. Excellent. How far did you go?
300 and...
But yeah, and that's typical.